What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what really moved it, and the massive catalyst that just came out after hours. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi went down 0.52% today, 13.13 the low, 13.43 the high. You did see a relatively low volume, so 56 million shares being traded, 62 is the average. It wasn't just SoFi, it was pretty much across the board. There was a certain level of hesitation going into Nvidia's earnings. So that was one of the two catalysts that did happen after hours. One was obviously known, Nvidia's earnings. Second one was unexpected. So Nvidia did hit a home run earnings. A lot of articles are already calling it a blockbuster earnings. So that in among itself is going to really push the broader market higher. A lot of tech plays as well are going to piggyback off of that. So SoFi, I think regardless, was going to go higher because of it. So tomorrow's shaping up to be a good day. We also do have GDP coming out first thing, so that could really also propel the market a little bit higher. But there was one massive catalyst, and underline massive like a million times, because of this right here. So US federal court blocks President Trump's Liberation Day tariffs from taking effect. So when this was announced, the market went down, I believe, the S&P went down like 4.5%, 5%, something like that. It was an insane day. And ultimately, with the court blocking this, the fear is off the table. So yeah, this is a huge, and like this is going to really push the market higher. So after hours, largely because of this being announced, you have a lot of stocks moving higher. So after hours, SoFi went up 2.63%. During the overnight, it seems to be extending that a little bit more, but you are seeing a certain level of hesitation, only because a lot of big money won't really be wanting to buy during the overnight. They'd rather buy calls, so wait up until the market does open, buy calls, and then buy the hell out of the broader market. And I even brought up recently how there is a huge amount of money sitting in money markets and how there could be a rotation happening. This off the table, this Liberation Day tariffs off the table, that could be enough to have this massive amount of money, so the $7+ trillion in money markets, start to rotate. Even if 1-2% decides to rotate out of money markets into equities, that is going to cause a significant increase in overall volume, and thus a lot of stocks moving higher. Even just generally, when it went from roughly like 5 to 4.5 trillion between 2020 and 2021, many stocks hit all-time highs during that period. So at the end of the day, things could get very real. So you might see FOMO, I think we're on 3.0 now, so FOMO 3.0 kicking in tomorrow. And plus, at the same time, when that Liberation Day tariffs were announced, it caused a lot of damage. You might actually see the inverse happen. So you might see a like 4% S&P green day tomorrow. So things could get very real very fast, and you might actually see some short squeezes across the board. So ultimately, shorts did increase with SoFi throughout the day, 46,000. So I'm sure those individuals are going to be regretting their decision, but 13.73% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 149.09 million shares. And that equates to roughly around $2 billion. So at the end of the day, I do anticipate logical shorts at least to be returning and probably overnight shitting themselves, pardon my French. So yeah, I think tomorrow will be a huge day, and GDP, yeah, that could move the market, kind of slow things, but with Nvidia earnings and that recent news about the Liberation Day tariffs, even if GDP comes in negative, I don't see that slowing the market. Moving over to options, 4.19 million in calls, 3.5 in puts. 52% of all the options being done were bearish in nature. And oddly enough, it was most of them were kind of near the intraday low. So I'm sure, again, a lot of those entities will have regretted doing that. And based on this as well, like 517,000 in overall premiums between 1040 and 1045, that's obviously not retail, that is institutions. So they definitely did bet on the wrong horse. But aside from that, based on the bulls, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 14 to 1450, bears for it to be sub 13. So definitely things should get very real very fast. A lot of big transactions after hours on both the secondary market and also dark pool. So it's good to see institutions were paying attention to it, and they did make up the majority of the volume today rather than algorithmic trading, so that's always a positive thing to me. With it closing at 1332 though, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. 1366 is going to be the next strong target slash resistance, followed by 1392 and then 1435. So realistically, you could even see this R3 being touched tomorrow, and that's not counting like a squeeze or anything. So things could get very real, like I said, unless, let's say, this is only a joke and it doesn't come to fruition. But 𝗪𝗓𝗓, he seems to be pretty, in my opinion, I think he has bad choices in stocks. He really likes Snapchat and stuff, but I think his actual news seems to be fairly credible. No actual new analyst ratings or anything like that. On the actual chart, it did successfully today get above that 100-day moving average. So even outside of, let's say, the Nvidia earnings, let's say not even counting the tariff news, SoFi's technicals was showing signs of breaking out. So things could get, like I said, FOMO 3.0 really kicking in. So things will be very interesting. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. So definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.